Okay, so we've got some materials here. Just want to show you how I set up my wooden base. Okay. We've got, oops, some tape there. So this is a standard base that I make, and it has a 1/2 inch galvanized flange. All right, you can buy these at a hardware store. Call ahead because sometimes this could be a specialty item, but you can get this commonly at Home Depot or some other hardware store. You can see here I have a board that is it's about 11 and a half, 11 1/4 inch wide, okay, by the same 12 inch, okay. If you can get this to be a box, it's better. And then here we've got a 3 1/2 inch square to be able to fit this flange. And you'll see here too that I have 1/4 inch bolts. All right, we've got washers. Depending on the thickness of the wood that you have, you want to account for the 1/4 inch bolt passing through the first layer, the feet of the base, the actual base itself, and then this supporting square piece, and then through the flange. Okay, so I don't know what your thickness of wood is, but you have to have a certain thickness. This wood right here is 3 1/4 inch thick. Okay, so for 3/4 of an inch thick, we've got 2 1/4 inch long bolts. Okay, so the shank is 2 1/4 inch, and you can see have this screwed down pretty well. You can't see that I've got some lock washers too underneath. So what I like about this is that because this base is going to get a lot of water, when you use this, you will not get the kind of loosening of this of what would be regular screws, right? You don't want regular screws, you want these bolts. So I'm going to adjust this a touch so that you can see where I put my my pipe. So here I've got the pipe. Okay, so this is a 1/2 incher. Okay, so the measurement that you get, that they call this at the hardware store, it's gonna be 1/2 inch, but it's actually a 1/2 inch on the internal part of the pipe. The outer part, when you include that thickness, it makes it 3/4 of an inch. So we've just screwed that in, and I've threaded this too, and I have it threaded. You can buy what are called nipples. So it's a tube that has threaded ends on both sides. Those are called nipples, and you can either have pipe cut, or hopefully they already have that size of nipple already made for you. Okay, so leaving this here. So here I have this other piece of pipe, and what it is we've got this, I believe, is a 3/8 inch thick nipple. Okay, and oh, excuse me, I kind of forgot. Here we've got like an 11 inch long nipple here. Okay, and you could go for 12 inches. Okay, here, right, oops, excuse me, we want to get this here. So this right here is an elbow, and it starts with 1/2 inch on this end, and then it converts to a smaller size to the 3/8 inch. Okay, so this is just so that I get a nice thick support here, This one's thinner. I would even just go with 3/8 inch for a size of base like this. You could even go smaller if you want. And then here we've got a 3/8 inch T. So it's got threads here, and then threads here. Okay, so I'm just gonna screw this in together. Okay, so when you're turning this, you want to be sure that it's nice. It's like nice and tightly screwed in. Okay, so you want to hold on to the base really tight, maybe have it against your belly, and then pull it in. And you want this base to be in the center of the wood. Excuse me, you want this part, right? Let's see, here. You want to get this so that it's like it's going to be in the diagonal part. Okay, it's going to be aligned diagonally. That way, when you look at this sculpture, this arm will always be out of the way, right? You rotate it and the arm's out of the way, right? Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to have our metal. Here I've got some aluminum wire. It's 1/4 inch thick. Okay, 1/4 inch thick. And then I've also got 1/8 inch thick wire here too. Okay, now all aluminum. So I've got this this long piece right here. I believe it's 16 on either side, which makes it 32 inches long. So this is a 32-inch long piece of wire, and I've bended it in half. You can use a hammer and hammer this down if you need to, or if you have a vice grip, you can put this in and then squeeze this in close. You don't want a big bubble for the head here. This is going to be where the head is. I've also marked the sides of this to figure out how, so what I did was I actually put this in here, right? I put the metal in there before I put on this, and I double checked with my heights, right? So I double checked with all of my heights to be sure that this height of the head was going to work. So you see how everything is measured out so that the height of the head is there. It's going to be above the loop where my pinky's at, and then the bottom of the feet are going to be down here. Okay, so so in this way, I've had everything measured, right? You see this height right here. This is to make sure that my head isn't too high and it's not too low. It's just going to hold it just right. So I put the hose clamps there, and then I've tightened them. Now you can see that they're opposing each other. Okay, so this part here will be where the pit of where the C7, the back of the neck is, right? And then here, this is going to be facing forward because around this area, so if you look at the profile, this is the back of the neck. Here you're going to have the rib cage. So just in case, I don't want this anywhere near where the spinal cord will be, because the spine will actually be a depression, right? So we keep this in the front part of the body. So I'm going to put this through. Okay. And then here, I can actually bend the legs and get a general figure. Okay. So now we've got the hands, or excuse me, the arms. Okay. So for this, I've got a piece that is 18 inches long. All right, 18. And this, let's see. 12. It's about 24 inches long. So I'm going to bend this here. And then try to find the middle of this as well. So you want to get them centered, all right, with each other. Okay, like this. And then now I'm going to take the longer piece and I'm going to wrap this around. Okay, and we're not really concerned if this is like too long or such, right? Because really when we have our hand armatures added to this, we're going to end up having to cut this armature anyway. Okay, so here, this is where I'm going to be attaching the arms. Okay, so you see we've got it pretty centered. Okay, got it centered like that, and then we're gonna attach it right here. So to do that, I've got some 1/16 of an inch wire. Okay, 1/16 of an inch, and I'm just going to cut it. Right now, I'm going to cut a small piece. And then I'm going to wrap it around this area right here. And then I'm going to, oops, actually want it here. I'm going to wrap it around here. And then wrap it around here. Okay, so there we've got our arms. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out and really get a really long piece of wire. So this wire is much longer. So I'm going to cut it around here. You want to be sure that this thinner wire is a lot longer so that it can wrap around the entire figure. I'm going to go like this. Thread it around. So we're just spiraling around this main 1/4 inch wire. And you don't need to go nuts. You don't need to wrap this like very densely. Wrapping this is just helping helping the clay stick onto the armature. Okay. All right, so you see I just went in a diagonal pattern, right? Just around like that. Now I'm going to go around this body. Like this. Okay, and then here, you're gonna go down, and then you're gonna wrap around this leg. Okay, and you can see this actually is a little bit short, so this is just barely enough. Okay, I would have actually done a little bit longer. Okay, so there you go. All right, so now I'm going to do a little bit less on this side because I see that it was just way a little bit too short. So we'll just do once around here and then move on down. So here we've got this. I'm going to wrap it around twice and then move on. So here we want to be sure to get the opposite direction. So I just saw that I was going in that same direction. We want to go the opposite. So we're going to go like this. We're going to do a crisscross. All right. And then here we're going to go down again. And then wrap around this leg. And here you can see I definitely have enough wire. It could be that I didn't center the wire when I first put it on. That's why I've got some excess. Okay, so here at the bottom, you can just keep wrapping it until it's done. Okay, so this is your armature. All right.